Starting something new is exciting, but it can also be really scary. Whether you're stepping into a new business, a new phase of life, or just trying something outside your comfort zone, self-doubt can hit hard. I know because I'm living it right now. Transitioning into running my handmade jewelry business full-time and trying to stay confident even when it feels like nothing is for certain. If you've ever felt like you're not good enough, you're not alone, and this episode is for you. Hey there, I'm Cassandra, the creative heart behind Pretty Pineapple Bead, and welcome back to Sparkle and Shine. Today's episode is a heart-to-heart about something I think every entrepreneur faces, how to stay confident when you're starting something new. Because it's not always easy to believe in yourself when your sales are slow, your content feels invisible, or your inner critic starts getting loud. Let's dive in and talk about it. All right, I'm going to get a little raw and real here. Right now, I feel like I don't have consistent sales unless I'm working at an in-person market or event. That alone can make it hard to feel like I'm doing enough. On top of that, my Instagram engagement has been painfully low. And I've been stuck between like 297 and 299 followers since last year. I'll gain one and lose two every time. It makes me feel like I'm screaming into the void. And then there's the imposter syndrome. That voice that says, you're not that talented. Anyone could do what you do. And it creeps in because creating jewelry feels easy to me. A lot of times I just sit down at my beading table, zone out, and just play with the pretty colors. And at the end of the day, I've made something pretty. But here I'm having to remind myself when that imposter syndrome shows up that just because it comes naturally doesn't mean it's not valuable. And then another trap that I tend to fall in is the comparison trap. I try not to do it, but sometimes I catch myself thinking that everyone else has it all figured out. They've got more sales, more followers, more engagement, more success, and so on. But what I've learned is that no one really shows you the full picture. We only see what they want to show us. And usually that tends to be the highlight reels or the happy moments and all the success and smiles. We don't always see the struggles along the way. Let me tell you a little bit more about what's been happening behind the scenes. I used to work 2 days a week at a retail job until my hours got cut in half. The store was sweltering hot, the back room was an absolute mess, and I was basically cleaning up after everyone else. I'd bust my butt for hours, come home drenched in sweat and emotionally drained. And the worst part, it would wipe out the entire next day too. My creative energy was completely gone. I had kept saying to my husband, I want to quit, but I need you to say it's okay. I need you to tell me that you believe in me. And finally, when my schedule changed and I was down to just one shift a week, he agreed. He supported the decision. I had begun using up my PTO just to keep the paycheck steady, and we both realized this just wasn't going to be sustainable. I felt ready, and honestly, the calmness that I feel this time around, the confidence, it's surprising, but it's real. This isn't my first leap into full-time entrepreneurship. In 2021, I left this same job and ran my business full-time for a little over a year. It wasn't perfect, but I figured out a lot, especially how to run a market booth by myself and build systems that work for me. That experience taught me that I can do hard things. And it helps now because this time, I'm not starting from scratch. I'm starting from experience. I'm also celebrating small wins along the way, like getting accepted into my favorite weekly summer market and staying consistent with content creation, even if the results aren't instant. I've been working on mindset practices too. Every morning, I shuffle 2 decks that I picked up from Five Below, one for affirmations and one for mantras. I pull 3 cards from each, write them in my journal, and read them out loud. It sounds like a small and silly task, but it really helps center me and start my day off with intention. I also like to turn to music. I made a playlist called Music Manifestations and Mantra Loops. It's full of songs with affirmations or uplifting lyrics. It keeps my vibe high, especially when self-doubt starts creeping in. And of course, I surround myself with color. Whether that's my outfit, my jewelry, or my workspace, color makes me feel alive and empowered. If you're feeling stuck in self-doubt, I want to remind you of 2 things. First, you are not alone. We are all figuring it out as we go along. And second, you're probably doing a lot better than you think. Let's start small. Share 1 photo instead of a face-to-camera video. Talk to 1 customer instead of worrying about 1,000 followers. Focus on building real connections. Find yourself a biz bestie, someone you can share your wins with, bounce ideas off of, and share encouragement with each other. If you don't know where to start, connect with me on Instagram. My own biz bestie started as a fellow fan of another podcast, and now we meet up for little work dates all the time. Confidence doesn't come from everything going perfectly. It comes from showing up even when it isn't. One of the mantras that's been hitting me hard lately is from Moonlight Scorpio's song, What Wants Me? I only want what wants me, 'cause I'm in love with my frequency. I'm not chasing nobody. That line reminds me that I don't need to force anything. The right people, the right opportunities, the right timing, they'll come when I keep showing up with aligned energy. So I want to know, what's something that you've done recently that's made you proud, even if it felt really small? DM me on Instagram at Sparkle and Shine Podcast and tell me all about it. Let's celebrate our wins together. And if this episode resonated with you, hit subscribe and share it with a friend who might need a boost of encouragement too. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Sparkle and Shine. Confidence isn't about having it all figured out. It's about showing up anyways. You're doing better than you think. Keep going, keep growing, and most importantly, keep shining.